All right, today we are talking about the best thing you've never smelled. Stay tuned. All right, so this one's actually going to be short, kind of as a public service, because I want more people to see this one. So, if you don't know, there are flowers that exist that we are unable to. There are flowers that exist that we are unable to actually distill and get the fragrance oils from, for one reason or another. Sometimes it's because the oils are too toxic. So even if we could distill it, it would be unsafe for humans. It's actually the case, I believe, with what I'm talking about today, which I want to talk to you guys about a flower called Daphne. If you've never experienced it before, you might have without realizing it. It is the best smelling flower that you'll ever encounter. And it's not even close, to be honest with you. It smells like a fully formed perfume on its own. Like, it is stunningly gorgeous. There are two problems that Daphne has. Number one, it grows on a bush. So you can't do bouquets of it. You can't do anything like that. There are no stems because it just blossoms. And then you have a beautiful bush that smells unbelievable, but it's not something that you could have in a bouquet sitting on your desk. The other thing is, apart from that, it's also like 2 weeks out of the year, maybe 2 weeks a couple times a year. It really only seems to bloom once or twice a year, I feel like, and it's for like 2 weeks. So if you're lucky enough to have a Daphne bush around you, you won't really be able to enjoy it except very rarely. So growing up, we had one in my yard, and every spring, because I would sleep with my window open every day basically except for January and February. So when spring would roll around, eventually I would catch this whiff as it carried the flowers from the backyard to where my room window was. And there's nothing like this. I mean, it smells beautiful. You'd recognize parts of it, like, I'm gonna spray. So what I have here is it's a room spray, because that's the only thing that I've been able to find, which is the point of this video. They nail it. Like, if you look up, go to Fragrantica and you look up Daphne, you'll see there's a very small number of fragrances that have a Daphne note in them. So because you can't distill the oils, it's what's called a silent flower, meaning we can't get the oils from it. I believe that's what that means. And it's also not something that you could really cultivate in a bouquet. It's just something that you enjoy like 2 weeks out of the year. So I'd pluck them off of off the bush in the backyard, and I would like stick them in like a little bowl of water so they'd just be floating, and I would catch whiffs of it, or I'd throw a bunch of them on the dashboard so that when the air was coming out of the vents, I would get it there as well. And that's really the only way that I can enjoy it. And it is amazing to me. Truly, there is nothing else that's quite like this. It's obviously very floral. Like, it's got like kind of almost a citrusy element to it, very green, but it has a complexity and a richness that makes it so beautiful. And it is amazing to me that it hasn't been created beyond more like this, where, by the way, this is Antica Pharmacista. I don't know. I found it on Amazon because I just started buying things that purported to smell like Daphne until I found something that nailed it. And this does. Like, I'll get the name of this in the description so you can buy something off Amazon if you want to smell it. It is unbelievably beautiful, and it is wild to me that there are not more fragrances out there that are trying to build some accord and use Daphne, because, like I said, it's on its own, it smells like a fully formed perfume. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful scent. For some reason, not for some reason, it's a bush, so it's not something that's going to be massively cultivated, which is a shame, because it's one of those things that if you smell it in the air, you'll think there's no way that's real. It smells too good. It smells too beautiful for that to just be a random flower. Roses ain't got nothing on Daphne odora. This is, I think, the most beautiful smelling flower out there. This fragrance nails it, which proves that you can absolutely synthetically or artificially create the accord. And so this whole video is basically me pleading to the fragrance community and to like all of the companies that are making, especially women's perfume. What? Why aren't you guys doing Daphne? Like honestly, I want to start mixing stuff, partially just because I want to make, like, the first person to make a Daphne perfume for women wins. Like, you're gonna have the Sauvage for women, because it's just so unbelievably good. You have all these elements of, like I said, you kind of have the citrusy element up top. You have a very strong green aspect to it. And then there's kind of a really clean vibe to it as well. So you get all of these things, and this really does nail it. This just smells like you're smelling Daphne. It is photorealistic to my nose, and I'm pretty obsessed with Daphne, so that feels, and in the air, by the way, as a room spray, this stuff is insane. It lasts for hours. I've never had a room spray that actually hangs in the air that long, but this does, and it really hangs beautifully. I love it so much. So it doesn't quite smell right on the strip because it really needs to be vaporized, but it is so beautiful. Please, 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 if you've smelled Daphne, leave a comment down below, because I want some industry people to see this video, because Daphne smells too good for you guys not to be creating accords that smell like it and using it in your fragrances. It's incredible to me that it hasn't really been done. I mean, it's sort of been done. There's a handful of fragrances, but for something that smells as good as Daphne does, like, there's no other flower there's nothing that even comes close to smelling as good as Daphne does. So I don't know how people smell Daphne and are in the perfume industry and don't do, like I asked, because there's one, I'm not gonna out the person, but there's one perfumer I don't know them. I've casually exchanged conversation with them a couple of times on Instagram that works for Givaudan, and I asked them, I'm like, hey, Daphne doesn't seem like, is this just something you guys can't create? Like why hasn't it been made more? And they're like, no, we've made it. I made it like in, when I was in school and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, then why aren't you, like, it's so obvious. Like, this thing, honestly, if this was changed from a room spray reformulated to be like whatever appropriate for like an actual perfume, that's all you need to do. Like, it's so unbelievably stunning on its own. Like, it's kind of unreal in how much it smells like a flower, but then it does smell, like I said, like a fully formed perfume. I think, like, growing up when I would smell this, it's similar to, I don't know if you've ever had, what's it called? Lychee. Lychee to me tastes like what you imagine perfume to smell like. Like, it's kind of got all of that going on. It just smells amazing, or just tastes amazing, but it makes me think of perfume. And kind of like this is what I'm thinking of. Like, there's kind of almost, yeah, so maybe there is some sort of lycheeness to this, but I don't know. This is just, I mean, it's unbelievable. I truly don't understand why Daphne is not a more popular note in fragrances, except that it can't be distilled on its own, so it would have to be created synthetically. So I guess that would make sense, since historically it's started out with fragrances that could be distilled, or flowers that could be distilled. This one can't, so it wouldn't be made. But now we have the ability, clearly, to synthesize it, so there's no excuses anymore. These companies need to be making this, or I'm just gonna and print money, because it's the best smell. I think it's actually just the best smell, period. Growing up, I would have strongly contended that this is the best smell, and even after all of the colognes and perfumes that I've collected, I still think Daphne is the best smell. It's unbelievable that something natural can smell this perfect. It's just incredible. It is unbelievable. So if you've smelled Daphne, I'll throw a picture of what it looks like up on the screen here. If you've ever smelled it before, let me know. I need someone else to be in this with me, because I feel like anyone who smells it is like, that's incredible. Why isn't it like a lotion? Well, I actually got the lotion version of this from my mom, because she loves Daphne too, but that's my point. Anyway, that's all. That's really all I wanted to talk about today. I love Daphne. You should too. Go order this. Let's start a campaign to bully these companies into using this in perfume, so that we can all be happy, because it would be unbelievable and it'd be a better world. Anyway, thank you so much for this quick hit, or for joining me for this quick hit, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.